Okay, Mr. Grizzly, Patrick Brown, lay it on me.
So we all know about Skippy the other day in his commentary. We're the party that protects
Yes,
whistleblowers.
the
We're the campaign that protects
common
whistleblowers.
sense conservative campaign that protects whistleblowers.
Well, that's hogwash, and we all know it. We've got some video clips here we're going to go to. And this video clip that you're about to see is from about a year and a half ago, if memory serves. Patrick Brown was vindicated. So is the whistleblower still a whistleblower or a paid political operative? Will Pierre Poilievre be held accountable by Elections Canada? It's a 6-minute video. We're not going to play it all in one shot. We're going to cut it up in clips and discuss it. So let's just watch a few seconds.
Serious allegations of wrongdoing by the Patrick Brown campaign that appear to violate the financial provisions of the Canada Elections Act. They said the information was provided to your campaign did not satisfy concerns with their compliance and our rules and procedures or the Canada Elections Act. They have disqualified you. What is your reaction to that?
First of all, Evan, let's say what this is really about. We signed up 150,000 new members to the party, which blew previous marks out of the water. Aaron O'Toole had signed up 20,000 when he was successful, and the party establishment was very clearly nervous. Pierre Poilievre was running paid television commercials in the GTA attacking my candidacy, and that's not the sign of a confident campaign. Clearly, the party establishment wanted Pierre. I'm shocked that they would take lengths this extraordinary to rob members of the party of a democratic election based on an anonymous complaint that we have no information on. They told our campaign there is an allegation that someone was being paid by a corporation to work on my campaign, but we wouldn't have no information about who that was or who that corporation was, so it's impossible to respond to a phantom.
Wow.
Okay.
And this was like last, what was it? I can't remember when. This is like a year and a half ago, something like that. I don't exactly remember when it took place. There's still more to come, and we will address that in a few minutes. But there's just so much on this. Like the paper trail. A whistleblower derailed Patrick Brown's leadership dream. A paper trail reveals who hired her. Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown asked the company behind a luxury real estate development in Oakville to hire a political organizer who ultimately brought down his conservative leadership campaign, financial documents reveal. But how the company, managed by Oakville-based Sigma Group, got involved in the messy world of leadership campaign politics, and whether it or Brown are under investigation for allegations the arrangement broke federal election law, remains unclear. That's all I can get, because then I have to pay for it. And I was like, okay, sale, 50 cents a week, cancel anytime. I went to sign up.
Oh, send me something.
Torstar wants my date of birth. I'm not giving them that.
Send me the thing. I might be able to find it. Somebody gave me a tool that I could use to...
Sending it to you now, sir. I'm going to put it right here. Boom, there you go. If you've got the tool to unlock that, that would be great, because I would like to read it. Yeah, I went to sign up. I'm like, 50 cents. All right, I'll sign up. Screw it. I'll sign it up. Date of birth. They want too much information from me. I'm like, I'm just trying to sign up for your newspaper's online thing. You don't need my date of birth. You're not getting it. It's none of your damn business. They're like, well, we need it for demographs. No. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. It's too much. Let's go back to the video here. While you're
the thing about the video that surprised me is when he said he was shocked. Really? Are you really shocked that the Conservatives would do that, considering your experience in Ontario when you ran for the... Are you really shocked? Really?
I don't think he's shocked as much as he just needs to feign that emotion, if you will. So let's go back and we'll look at a little bit more of this, shall we? And just give me a sec while it loads up. And here we go.
I want to break that down, Mr. Brown, but you and I spoke this morning, and I want you told me this is an egregious abuse of democracy in the party, and you called it, quote, politically corrupt. What do you mean?
Well, this leadership is a battle for the soul of the Conservative Party. Our members of the party deserve a vote. It shouldn't be taken away from them. And, having strong campaigns in this leadership really made this an exciting race. I felt with Jean Charest's candidacy, my candidacy, Dr. Leslyn Lewis and Pierre all having robust campaigns, it really created a competitive leadership, and we felt that we were going to win it. We thought we had the memberships in the right spots, and so when I say this is politically corrupt, Evan, 150,000 Canadians, many for the first time, joined the Conservative Party, and their vote has been taken away. They've been disenfranchised. That's an egregious abuse of our democracy.
Corrupt. Are you saying there's some...
He's not wrong. It's truly, truly disturbing when you get right down to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a link in the chat here. I'm going to just pull it up and have a look at it. Oh, yeah, okay. That's, from James, dismantling Patrick Brown. It's from a year ago. Patrick Brown, it's from Blackballed. Patrick Brown was ousted from the federal Conservative leadership race, and it feels like he was never going to be allowed to run. This is part one of a two-part podcast examining what happened and why it looks like the fix was in. So let's continue on with this thing that I was reading about a second ago. The recent publication of campaign financial disclosures, which have been reviewed by the Star, sheds new light on the allegation that eventually forced Brown out of the federal Conservative leadership race last July. That his campaign had accepted an illegal donation by having a third-party company pay for one of his campaign workers, Debbie Jaudoin. Last week, the Star revealed that Pierre Poilievre's campaign paid for the lawyer who Jaudoin used to bring her concerns to the party, a move Poilievre has since defended. Now the company Brown got to hire Jaudoin in the first place is public for the first time. His campaign records show that last July, Brown's campaign cut a check of $7,410.83 to a numbered Ontario company, and his campaign confirmed to the Star the payment was related to Jaudoin.
Of course, it was a numbered company.
Of course it was. Yeah. Corporate records reveal the numbered company's business name is Trafalgar Crossing, an office and retail complex located in what its website describes as Uptown Oakville. Trafalgar's Crossing website lists the Sigma Group as the development's landlord. The Sigma Group was founded in the 1990s by Arjun Jazjua. I hope I pronounced his name. Jazuja? As a software firm. Pardon, Jazuja, possibly. I don't know. I apologize if I've screwed his name up. I don't like to do that, but I read it for the first time. I don't know if I have the pronunciation correctly. But anyway, Arjun is a software firm supporting the telecom industry. The privately held company has since branched out into numerous other interests, including luxury real estate and medical technology.
Oh, really? How convenient. Luxury real estate and medical technology. Really?
Interesting. Jasuja, who is Sigma's chairman, is listed as a director of Trafalgar Crossing, as is Sigma's managing partner, Anita Dharamshi, that's what it is. Trafalgar Crossing's business address in corporate records is also the same as the Sigma Group.
Convenient.
Attempts by the Star to contact Jasuja and Dharamshi through the Sigma Group were not successful. A person who answered the phone at the company's headquarters said they were on vacation, though said they did forward along requests for comment from the Star. Jaudoin has referred all questions to her lawyer, who has not replied to the Star's calls or emails. Brown's campaign could not provide any details of the arrangement, saying only the company was a friend who Brown asked to give Jaudoin a job.
I love when people say, call my lawyer, and then the lawyer doesn't answer anything.
Yes.
Just send it to a black hole.
In a July 2022 statement via her lawyer, Jaudoin said she joined the Brown campaign in April 2022 at his request to act as a regional organizer. She said she was told by Brown she could be hired by a third party as a consultant, and then the company would have her volunteer on Brown's campaign. What work Jaudoin would have been hired to do for Trafalgar Crossing is unknown, but the arrangement is not uncommon in politics. PR firms, for example, often allow employees to keep their day jobs while volunteering on political campaigns. But in Jaudoin's statement, she said she personally asked Brown in June 2022 for his campaign to pay her. Brown expressed surprise that the expenses had not been covered, and he said he was on it, the statement said. Shortly after that, says Jaudoin, a corporation paid me and paid for my expenses, not the Brown campaign. Elections law states that campaigns must pay their expenses with money raised from individuals. Mm-hmm. Presented with Jaudoin's allegations, the Conservative leadership race organizing committee concluded that Brown's campaign had accepted a corporate donation, and that became one of the reasons he was disqualified from the race. In Brown's telling, recounted via his campaign at the time, he had a friend hire Jaudoin, but the work on his campaign was, to Brown's understanding, being done on her own time. To the extent that the person was volunteering for the campaign while they should have been performing work for a friend's company, Mr. Brown and the campaign is prepared to reimburse the friend and their company for the applicable amounts. The Brown campaign sent a letter to the leadership race organizing committee on June 30th. Brown was disqualified on my birthday, July 5th, 2022. His campaign cut the check to Trafalgar Crossing 7 days later.
So he's still paid.
Oh, yeah, he's still paid. Federal election law states campaigns must return ineligible donations within 30 days after becoming aware of the ineligibility.
Mhm.
The fact Brown's campaign paid back the money should not be the end of the matter, said Duff Conacher, the co-founder of Democracy Watch.
Those are the people that put out that thing on by-election day saying that the SNCA investigation was still open when it was not.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, so Democracy Watch? The commissioner should still prosecute. The commissioner should still prosecute if there is clear evidence, such as emails or text, that show Brown violated the elections law by arranging for Jaudoin to be paid by a third-party company, because paying the company back after the allegations were made public does not erase the violation of the law.
Wait a minute, it sure
Conacher
worked
said.
for the senators and the senator expense scandal.
Well,
They were allowed to repay it back and not get charged.
Mhm. Picking and choosing. My guy does it, it's okay. Your guy does it, it's illegal. That's effectively what they're saying, right? The allegation that Brown's campaign broke the law has been referred to Commissioner of Canada Elections. The office has remained tight-lipped about the status of its investigation, citing a provision of the Elections Act that requires its work to remain confidential. This is a direct quote from the Commissioner's office. When a review or investigation leads to formal compliance measures or the laying of charges, this information is made public. When a file has been closed, in most instances, complainants and subjects of investigation are informed of the conclusions reached by the office. But so far, neither Brown campaign nor the Conservative Party have heard anything.
Mm-hmm.
The party has no information from Elections Canada about the status of an Elections Canada investigation, Sarah Fisher said in an email to the Star.
So this is Stephanie Levitt's again. Good reporting from her.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is fishy in many ways because, first of all, Patrick Brown found a job for her so she could get paid for doing a job, which would then allow her to volunteer afterwards, right?
Right.
I think that's because, everybody's got to eat and everybody has to have a roof over head, so she didn't have a job. So, it's like, how is this person... See, I'm not understanding this because if she went to him for help to find a job, period.
She was a double agent. She was planted there by this is my speculation. Okay, so this is not fact. This is my speculation. She was placed in that position by Poilievre's campaign to bring down Patrick Brown by doing what she did.
So
that's my speculation and my opinion.
So my thing is, she finds her the job. So she's working a job. She should get paid for her job, and she's volunteering on her own time. Now,
that's what he understood.
Now, I would assume that some of those volunteer hours could be happening during 9 to 5. So I'm guessing that she would have to either not claim those hours as work or make those hours up at other times during the 24-hour period that she is not volunteering during a 9 to 5 period or during whatever her regular work hours would be. She seems to be claiming that she hadn't been paid, I'm guessing. And Patrick Brown said, "Oh, okay, well, we need to fix that.
We'll fix that right away." Yeah.
And this is the part then where I get confused. Like, what did she get paid for? Just her regular... She didn't get paid for regular work, or didn't get paid because she's not supposed to get paid for volunteer hours?
No. It's all so very fishy, isn't it? And you're right, Ree. James reported on this at the time, but there was not enough concrete evidence.
Yep.
All the evidence is there now, all the paper trail. And remember the $37,000 that Pierre Poilievre's campaign paid to the law firm that his campaign chair is employed by, his campaign chair being John Baird. Now, again, we said this the other day. It's very, very likely and very, very probable Baird knew nothing about this. It's also plausible that he did. Okay. I'm not saying either or on that, okay?
Now, I'm here from what I'm understanding from the article is that she wasn't asking to be paid for hours, but for her expenses incurred while volunteering. And he said he was on it, and Joe Dwight says that a corporation paid me and paid for my expenses, not the Brown campaign. So a corporation should be paying her for work hours she worked for the corporation, not for the campaign. The corporation shouldn't be paying for the expenses.
That's right.
So that's the part that makes because this document doesn't say if they have paperwork showing that the corporation actually did pay the expenses, just that she said so.
Mm-hmm.
So on that particular part of paperwork, we're still at the same part. Now, that paperwork might be there and just may not be made public yet. But what was the actual source of it? And if Brown says, well, wait, whoa, they weren't supposed to pay for that, I'll cover
Right.
that. Now, of course, it was in the interest of the party to dispatch them as soon as, because, again, right, you have to remember that political party leadership campaigns, political parties are considered private organizations. So even though there are some Elections Canada rules for certain things, I mean, Elections Canada typically doesn't get involved. It has to be really bad in this type of thing because it's not part of an election thing. It's just a party leadership race, and they're a private organization. They can organize their rules any way they see fit.
Any way they want. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
let's go back to tape for a second here. I got some.
Yeah, there's some explaining to do here.
Oh yeah. There's. Here we go. Do I have the right screen up? I think I have the right screen up. I have so many of them. Just a second here. Let's just go with this. That way I have the right one. There we go. Too many tabs here to select from, and I don't mean tabs open on. Now here's the question. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's go.
Of our democracy.
Corrupt. Are you saying there's someone, the deck was stacked against you, that you were winning, and this is a sham, that there's nothing to these allegations? Are you alleging that this is Pierre Poilievre's supporters on the leadership organization stacking a deck to chop your legs out and get rid of you on this campaign, and there's no substance there? Is that when you say political corruption, what do you mean?
Well, first of all, Evan, no substance. We don't even know what the allegation is. It's an anonymous allegation being made. Well, how do you respond to a phantom allegation? You know, we've asked for information. The party wouldn't give it. We tried to respond to every party request. We tried to be cooperative, even when their questions made no sense. And so, you know, we are very disappointed, and obviously we know where this is coming from. It was Pierre Poilievre supporters on Leoc that were pushing this. Clearly, their campaign wanted me out of the race. They benefit the most from me being out of the race. And it's just disappointing. You know, frankly, if Pierre Poilievre was going to win this race, if he had gone through a fair leadership contest, he would have a stronger standing afterwards, post-September 10th. But I also know that I was a candidate that called Pierre out. And I don't think his campaign liked that. I don't think the party establishment liked that. You know, his association with Pat King, I was the first person to call out that video of him with Pat King and Pat King's history of hate and intolerance. You know, I called Pierre out on his ludicrous policy on Bitcoin, that he could opt out of inflation through cryptocurrency, and how I felt that was financially illiterate. You know, I have called Pierre out on his history on not condemning Islamophobia and voting the wrong way on that issue. And so I made some people in the party uncomfortable because I have challenged some of the traditional positions.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, but have we not been saying that for the last since this show started 3 years ago? This is what we've been saying all along, and now we've got, you know, somebody who was trying to lead the party, become the party leader, who's in the party, flat out say exactly what we've been saying for 3 years.
Again,
I mean, I'm not a fan of Patrick Brown's, and he's greasy.
Yes,
but he's not Skippy. He's not Skippy, and he does believe in the rule of law. He believes in democracy. He believes. Well, you just heard what he talked about, right?
But here's the thing, right? If Patrick Brown knew then. When was that interview with Evan Solomon?
I think it was like a year ago.
Like, if Patrick Brown knew then that Rat King was someone with whom you should not have an association, how does the entire Conservative Party not recognize Jeremy McKenzie when he shows up for pictures?
I don't know. Because they don't want to. Because they like what Jeremy McKenzie has to say. In private, they like what he has to say. And in private, I'm sure they pat him on the back and say, keep it up, good work. Until he threatened to sexually assault Pierre's wife. And, oh, now you've crossed the line.
Yeah, for like a couple of weeks, but he's still fluffing Jordan Peterson and taking pictures with straight white pride guy. Well, not white pride, straight pride guy.
Straight pride guy, yeah. I didn't read the T-shirt. Bullshit.
Yeah, you also didn't.
It's lime green with black
You also
lettering.
didn't read the Hold Fast T-shirt, and you also didn't read the Fuck Trudeau T-shirt. And you also didn't read the Diagolon T-shirt.
Dark Brandon T-shirt.
No. Yeah.
Let's go to more tape. More tape here.
More tape.
This just there's another less than 2 minutes left, and it just keeps going. It's so juicy.
Well, very clearly, Pierre Poilievre supporters are the ones behind this, and you know, it begs the question why. If they were so confident, why do they want me out of the race? And I'd add to that, Evan, why are they running TV commercials in the GTA, expensive TV commercials in the largest media market in Canada, attacking my candidacy? If they're as confident as they tell you they are.
But it's a race. It's a race, so they're going to do that. But they've responded to this.
Evan,
I want your reaction.
That's never been done. That's never been done in Canadian history in internal leadership to run paid TV commercials in the opponent's media.
True.
It's true.
The Poilievre camp has said last night Patrick Brown was disqualified from the Conservative leadership race because of credible allegations that he had violated the financial provisions of the Canada Elections Act. They go on to say it's not the first time Patrick has been disqualified from running for public office for ethical impropriety. They go on to talk about the Ontario PC race disqualifying you. They say, quote, Patrick's conduct has demonstrated he's the kind of person that will do and say anything to win.
So,
yesterday's news was that.
I like the fact that Kevin was lost over the fact that he got that back.
Well, Patrick Brown will do and say anything to win. That's Pierre Poilievre's campaign said. Patrick Brown will do or say anything to win. Pot, may I introduce you to the fucking kettle? And sorry for dropping the whole thing, but holy Christ!
My latest chapter. So what do you say about that?
So Evan, my first response is they say credible allegations. How does Pierre Poilievre's campaign know the allegations and my campaign doesn't? How do they know they're?
Well, that leads to my speculation of he planted her there to bring him down from within.
Credible allegations. All we know is there's an anonymous allegation that a corporation was paying someone that worked on my campaign. You know, Pierre Poilievre has been pushing this for the last number of days, and it begs the question, once again, I go back to, why can't they just win this leadership fairly?
Right? Like, that's what we call kids a smoking gun.
I would really, 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 really like to see documentation about the actual check that was cut to repay those expenses.
Well, and again, let's go back to what we talked about from the article in the Toronto Star, and what we have already said. You're in violation of Elections Canada, but it's a private party matter. Elections Canada isn't getting involved.
Mm-hmm. But and then again, we have the irony that we've already pointed out, that people are complaining that Debbie Jaudoin had her expenses paid by a third party, while the Conservative Party of Canada, which is a private organization, which is a third party to Debbie Jaudoin, paid for the legal expenses for the whistleblower. And again, we have to ask, if the thing you blew the whistle on is something that did not happen,
how are you a whistleblower?
right?
You're not a whistleblower. You're a bullshit artist.
And if that's the case, and if you pay for lawyer fees in order to protect that person, in exchange for getting their story, that you can then campaign on to destroy someone, that seems to me like it would be an election expense, which the Conservative Party of Canada, or at least Pierre, seemed to believe it was, because he did report it to Elections Canada, even though he only reported as election issues matter, not paying for dirt.
Well, and what Patrick Brown just said, we don't even know what the allegation is. How does he know what it is if we don't know what it is? I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he knows what it is because he's the one who created it.
And why did Debbie Jaudoin first go running to Pierre Poilievre's campaign rather than Elections Canada?
Like, come on. Like, the fix was in, right? They torpedoed his campaign, number one. Number two, they're not even good at it because they left the paper trail for the whole world to see. Now, and again, James broke this story a year ago.
Yep.
But he didn't have any concrete evidence. Now we do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If this does not bring down Poilievre once and for all, if the party doesn't do anything about it, if the party just glosses it over and ignores it, and if voters don't demand for his head, then I think we're done in this country as a parliamentary democracy. I think we're finished. Honest to goodness, if he is not taken down by this, he's become Trump. I can stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and I'd still get elected. If people still support this crooked villain after this, after all the things he's done, the MGTOW, the cuddling up to Jordan Peterson, the shaking hands with Pat King and Jeremy McKenzie, the I didn't read the T-shirt, the voting against same-sex marriage, the guy who will, if he becomes prime minister, find a way to make abortion illegal. If this doesn't bring about the end of his political career, then we're finished. We're finished. Because it's blatant crime. It's blatant. It could not be more in your face how much of a crime kingpin this guy is. And we got to talk to David Wallace because, David's got all the receipts.
Ooh, yeah. Yep.
And here's the thing. A lot of people going, well, a lot of that stuff that David Wallace is saying with the Klondike Papers is not founded. And every time somebody says that, there's another thing that comes true. Everything David Wallace has talked about has become proven to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Proven to be true, period. Every single thing. So tell me, David, what information do you have on this guy? Because let's get rid of him once and for all.
Would be nice.
But again, 66% of Canadian media is owned by a far right-wing GOP supported and enabled Christo-fascist evangelical hedge fund, Chatham Asset Management, who, remember, always accuses the CBC of being state-run media while they're accepting hundreds of millions of dollars from the federal government. Like, the hypocrisy, it blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, why are you always so exasperated? Because I read everything, and it just, how can we be living in this timeline? We are, we're both the smartest and most in the most informed and smartest timeline that is also the most willfully ignorant. I just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm right with you.